Tonight, more revelations about a police officer charged after investigators say he tried to falsely accuse a fellow officer of child abuse. Now, our 13 Investigates reporter Sierra Putman has discovered new disciplinary records that show this isn't the first time he's been accused of setting up another officer. So, Sierra, you broke the story 3 weeks ago, and it sounds like what you've learned now has raised a lot of questions about why Plainfield police even hired him.
Because we learned a different state actually stripped this officer of his police certification. Documents show Valentin Khazin had a lengthy disciplinary history while at the NYPD and admitted to writing this letter accusing his boss of drunk driving. Get this, most of what he wrote was made up. This speedway was a frequent stop for Plainfield police officer Valentin Khazin. In June, Steward Clerk Paul Lukey says he walked in as usual, but the conversation was different.
This was something that was wild.
Reporting Khazin asked him to create letters falsely accusing another officer of abusing children, verbally, physically, and sexually. Lukey immediately reported Khazin to Plainfield police.
If he's willing to do this to another cop, what is he willing to do to somebody else?
Khazin resigned after learning he was under investigation. Lukey's glad state police handled the case, not Khazin's own department.
No one can come back and say that the Plainfield Police Department discriminated against or acted unfairly towards this officer.
A concern because Khazin is currently suing his old department, the NYPD. In court documents, 13 Investigates found an incident very similar to what Khazin is accused of doing in Plainfield. Turns out he admitted to creating this letter and making up a story about a jogger who reported seeing a driver who seemed drunk cause a hit and run. The so-called Good Samaritan also provided a license plate number that belonged to Khazin's boss. In a deposition, an attorney asked, did anyone observe these events? Khazin's response, in this particular letter, no. Khazin said he was hoping to start an investigation into his boss. NYPD suspended Khazin for 30 days for making false allegations and other misconduct. Would you hire someone accused of writing a letter like this?
No.
Christopher Mercado is a retired NYPD officer and an adjunct assistant professor with the John Jay College of Criminal Justice. Khazin's lawsuit is still pending. He filed it claiming his supervisors were retaliating against him because he would not participate in the harassment of a black officer. His legal team wrote the conditions in New York City were unbearable, and Khazin couldn't take it anymore. He resigned March 15, 2019. 13 Investigates learned that same day Khazin was decertified for cause, meaning the state stripped him of the certification he needed to work as a police officer. Is that a red flag? Is that a black mark? Is that something that should concern a police department?
It's a red flag to ask more questions. If it was for misconduct or incompetence, that's a black mark, as you said.
Robert Girard is a criminology professor at Indiana State University. Plainfield police won't tell us if it knew Khazin was decertified when it hired him in 2020, or if it knew he was disciplined after being accused of setting up his supervisor. But Plainfield did send this statement that it did a thorough background check and Khazin was recommended for hire by his previous agency. The department also shared these letters of recommendation from 2 NYPD officers. Is policing one of those roles where you give people another chance if misconduct has been involved?
There is a lot of interpersonal and organizational politics involved in law enforcement, so sometimes another chance could be warranted. It depends on what the issue is. If they've been caught lying, there's no going back.
Girard and Mercado both agree a thorough background check should have revealed Khazin was decertified, as well as his disciplinary history.
In the cases where you have corrupt officers or you have people involved in malfeasance, you can't keep passing the garbage along. Pass along the problem.
Again, we're still waiting to learn what Plainfield knew about Khazin's past and when it knew it. Keep in mind, the fallout from the criminal investigation against him is serious. More than 100 pending cases were dropped or are now under review, Jenny.
So a lot of potential impact here, Sierra. So have you heard from Officer Khazin at all, and what's his response to all this?
Well, we did reach out to his attorneys. They declined to comment for this story, but you can read the documents that we uncovered. We put them online, including this letter. Just go to the 13 Investigate section of WTHR.com.
All right, Sierra, thanks.